Cars Car Show at Sam Houston Race Park. Today we'll be talking to a few of the car owners and participants in today's charity event. In our new car showroom, we're going to review the Ford F-250 3/4 ton pickup truck, bad to the bone Ford. We're also going to review the Kia Telluride. What? Yep, it's a new one, Kia Telluride. Mr. Marr is going to have that in the second hour. You'll hear our weekly Ram Tracks and Jeep Trails features along with this week's automotive news. It's all just ahead on today's In Wheel Time Car Show for Saturday, October 26th, 2019. This is kind of our time change Halloween show. Just wanted to give you a forewarning in case you're going to be offended by any of the music that we're going to play in relationship to that. Today's show is presented by the Ram 1500, built for a world that demands more, and by Jeep. Hurry in today for great deals during the Jeep Adventure Day sales event. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World, Mars, and King Conrad DeLong, I am Don Armstrong. So glad that you could join us on what is turning out to be an absolutely stunningly beautiful Saturday out here at Sam Houston Race Park. And if you are listening to the broadcast on the radio, we are on a delay because of today's Texas A&M football game. So we're going to be on right after that football game. If you're watching or listening on Facebook or any of our social media platforms, welcome. We're doing this live, and we're going to also play it back on Facebook again at 3 o'clock in case you just can't get enough of this show. So, Mr. Mars, it's good to see you. We've been working diligently to get us on the air from here since we got here, but thanks to our radio engineer, our chief master mechanic of all things electrical, Mr. David Ainsley.
All he did was plug it in.
Yeah, well, there was a little bit more to it than that, but thanks to him.
Sometimes you got to know what to plug in, where, and when to plug it in.
That's it. So we just got by the hair of our chinny chin chin is what we did. How was your week, sir?
Busy, about like today.
Yeah,
so it's been, but the weather's turning off great.
Yeah.
Clouds are breaking up.
Yep, it's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Mars is getting ready for the Texas Auto Writers Association Texas Truck Rodeo. Where does that take place? In Beehive?
Bee Cave,
Bee
Texas.
Cave. I knew it had something to do with bees.
Star Hill Ranch, just outside of Austin. Gorgeous movie set is what it is.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they've taken all the old buildings around Austin, bring them in, kind of make a little town, and it's a movie set.
Really?
Yeah, Chris Christopherson uses it a lot, and they've made, I don't know, they got a list of the movies that have been out there.
And the next one's starring Mike Mars this week.
Absolutely. This Saturday night.
Okay. And Mr. DeLong, who's fresh back from
Washington, D.C.
The sin capital of the world.
It was a wonderful trip. We had a great trip.
Yeah.
You know, Angie got a chance to do sightseeing while I was at the BG International Conference there.
Did you go get a chance to meet Donald Trump?
Angela went to the White House. We went to Congress. I ran into Senator Tom Cotton from Oklahoma while we were in the Senate. I wanted to yell at somebody, but they told me to be quiet.
Well, we continually remind you to be quiet here on this
It doesn't
show.
do any good.
I was told to behave. But, yeah, no, it was a great trip. We came back Thursday night. Wonderful time.
Good. Glad to hear it. Well, it's same old with yours truly. In our remote studio today, start off the show, we have a guy that has a very interesting story. His car caught my attention. The first thing I walked in the door, I thought, oh my gosh, my dream car come true is actually here. And I may have seen this car somewhere
in your mind.
In my mind, but it is stunningly gorgeous. It is a 1941 Willys. And for you car guys and gals that are listening, you know what a Willys is. It's very unique. It was very popular on the drag racing circuit in the day. It was also popular in circle track racing after World War II. I know that they used that body style quite frequently out at Myers Speedway back in the day. But this gentleman, his name is Dennis Snodgrass. And Dennis, I want to be you today.
Okay. I'll let you work on a car for me.
Okay. Yeah.
No, don't do that.
It is a beautifully, I don't even know how to describe it. It's a beautiful black paint job with just the right touch of chrome, a stunningly beautiful beige leather interior in it.
And a huge blower sticking out of the hood.
Yeah. You know, I bet you don't have too many people that say, don't know what that is sticking out of the hood there. Is it an 871 blower?
871 with 2 Holly Dominators on it.
Well, it is. Do you have any clue how much horsepower that thing puts out?
It was originally dynoed at about 850 horsepower.
Yeah. But, you know, it's the sound, the whine of that blower that just does it for me.
Yep.
You don't have to really, smoke the tires or anything. Maybe just give just
But
a little.
you can if you want.
You can't. Just give it a little touch of the throttle, a little blip of the throttle every once in a while, just to hear that little bit of whine, and I'm all over that. It's, we know that the power is there, but man, what a beautiful car
that is.
But and I was talking to him, went up to him and complimented him on the car. I said, "So, how long have you had it?" So I think we need to kind of repeat that little bitty interview that we had there to give us a little bit of background. You're a car guy, and you've owned many cars in your lifetime. Apparently, you're a veteran, too. I see you with the hat.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And we're kind of close in age, and although you look a lot better than I do.
I was going to say, don't take that from him.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that comment.
Yeah. So, and you live here in Houston?
I live in Tomball.
Tomball, Texas. And there's a story behind the car that you briefly told me, and I'd like you to repeat that story. Where did you find the car?
I had been looking for a 41 Willis for a lot of years, and you find a lot of them on eBay and all that. I happened to see an ad for a car dealer that was down in Rockport, Texas. And I drove down there one day with a buddy of mine, and he was sitting in the showroom. And this is about 5 years ago. And it was right before the big hurricane came into Rockport.
Yes.
I think I had it home for about 6 months whenever that hurricane came through. That car dealership's not there anymore.
So you saved the car.
I saved it. Yeah, it's all me.
Now, did you buy it like that?
Basically, but it's had we've done a lot of work to it.
What have you done to it?
We used to have air ride on it.
Okay.
And I decided to get rid of the air ride. We put all coilover shock undercarriage on it and put some, I didn't have quite enough horsepower, so I put some aluminum heads on it.
Okay.
And so who knows what it's got now. But
so 850 wasn't enough.
No.
You never have enough.
You never have enough horsepower.
Yeah.
I like it.
So have you ever checked to see what the miles per gallon is today?
No, but you really don't want to. It's probably about 3 to 4 miles a gallon.
I was just gonna
Do
say.
you really care as long
No.
as you can see the service
As long
station
as I
down
can
the
see a
road?
gas station down the road, I'm all right.
Yeah. So the car does have 2 Holley carburetors sitting on top of the blower. Pretty much everything underneath the hood is chrome plated.
It's a 454 Chevy board, 468 cubic inch.
Yeah.
And it was all built. It was built in Enid, Oklahoma, is where it was built.
Really?
Really?
And they did. I called the guy up there and asked him about it, and he said, it's not a race car, but it's got all the horsepower you'll ever need for the street.
In driving that in Tomball, you have to be quite careful because the Tomball police are
I know-
not friendly to performance cars.
I know them quite well.
I bet you do. And they know you quite well, too.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I know that you probably get a lot of compliments on the car.
Yeah, basically the only time it comes out is when the weather is nice and we go to car shows, and once in a while take it out to a little drive-in or something to go to dinner or something, but it's not the kind of car you can drive every day.
But I bet you it attracts a crowd everywhere you go.
It usually does.
Well, just like when Don walked in and saw it, that's the first thing he said. My God, look at that. Yeah, you can see if you got close to it, you'd been drooling. You've been over there wiping it off to dry. I'm sure that happens all the time.
Well, and the other thing is it's clean. Not clean as far as dirty clean, but clean as far as void of trim and unnecessary chrome pieces. I mean, really just the headlight bezels and the grill
Just
itself.
the right
yeah,
amount.
really, absolutely it is. And then the big yellow moon eyes cover on the scoop for the blower.
Yeah.
It helps to remove that before you leave.
Yeah, it just sucks it
Suck
in.
it right
once.
in.
Hangs up in the carburetor on the way by.
So what kind of brakes have you got on it?
It's got Willwood 4-wheel disc brakes on it.
Yeah.
That was another thing we just finished doing, and like I say, it sits right now. And,
So what is the chassis under there?
It's a Dennis Taylor body. It's a complete custom fabricated chassis.
Okay.
It's got a modular Ford 9 rear end and about 370 gears, I think 373.
And has it got a turbo hydromatic 400?
Turbo 400.
Yeah.
It's got shift kits and stuff in it and everything.
Nice little stall.
Well, yeah, about 3,500.
Kind of makes your ears bleed at 65 miles an hour, doesn't
Yes,
it?
it does.
It does. So are you going to be showing it in this year's Autorama?
No, I was there a couple years ago and did real well with it, and I'm not going to take it this year, but maybe in the future. That's my wife's car that's sitting right next to me, that 33 Ford.
Really?
And, so we're car nuts, and we've had cars all of our lives. That's how I met her 52 years ago.
So what's the secret in getting that combination together?
She's a car nut like I am.
Well, where did you meet her? Did you meet her at a car show?
No, I met her at drive-in in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
At the drive-in.
Bob's Big Boy, Vip's Big Boy. If you've seen the movie American Graffiti,
Sure. Yeah.
that was our life. So that's what we've done all our life.
Man, I'm telling you what a life. Not bad, eh?
Yeah, but I could have retired a few more years earlier than I have recently. So,
Did you just retire recently?
well, no, about 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So that's
So
recent.
that was your retirement present to yourself.
Yeah, and my child's inheritance and everything else.
Hey, you might as well spend it. They'll just waste it.
Well, I have to tell you that it's a real honor and pleasure to meet you. Great guy and a stunningly beautiful car.
Thank you.
Haven't met your wife yet, but I'll go over there and shake. Is she here?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I'll shake her hand
And
as
we
well.
assume that you served in the Army.
I
Since
was
you
in
were
the Army 66 to 72.
Okay. So you saw the ugliness of Vietnam.
Well, I didn't have to go to Vietnam. I was lucky. They kept me all in the United States, going Fort Chaffee, Fort Bliss, Fort Huachuca, Arizona. So I was stateside the whole time. So I was lucky.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate
very, very
it.
much.
Thank
And, again, pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for stopping by.
Beautiful car.
Yep. Dennis Snodgrass, our guest in our remote studio out here at Guitars and Cars, and we're at Sam Houston Race Park up here on the North Sam Houston Tollway. If you're out and about, this show, I think, goes till 6 o'clock this evening.
And if people look on our Facebook page, you can see both the Willis and the Ford with the flame job that belongs to Mr. Snodgrass.
We're going to take you into the In-Wheel Time new truck showroom and review the Ford F-250 Super Duty pickup truck right after a quick break. You could always take our show with you on your smartphone by downloading the station app, ESPN 97.5. In-Wheel Time continues after this quick break.
Clear.
Now, how cool is that? I've got the Willis. The wife drives the Ford. I think his is faster.
Oh, yeah.
You think? But I don't think it makes it. Can you imagine opening the garage door
And
you
seeing
got
those
those two in there?
Which one am I going to drive today? Honey, can I take your car to this?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly
I need to go
right.
get a Diet Coke. How are you? Great.
GTG, BRB, OMW,
Mr. Mars, could you get Michelle and translate her guest list for us so I know who we've got coming up next? Because I didn't do that.
Hey,
Shame on
Michelle, are
me.
you around?
55 miles an hour. That's enough time
There she is,
to travel the
right
length of a
there.
football field. Make good decisions.
You
Don't
need to
text
take your
and drive.
headset off.
Visit
She heard us.
stoptextrex.org. A message brought to you by the
She's
National
headed
Highway
somewhere.
Traffic Safety Administration.
She is.
Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Tailpipes and tacos is Houston's
Mike,
hottest
do I assume you
Saturday
never
morning
put the?
cruise in.
Oh, you did put the card in.
Tailpipes and
Good.
Tacos welcomes
Yes,
all
I did.
specialty cars and trucks from
Couldn't
mile
record
wide
if it wasn't
every
in.
Third Saturday of the month. Shine it up, turn it on, and head on over to Loopy Tortilla on
You
the
doing
National
okay?
Parkway at Kingsland, just 2 minutes south of I-10 and Gate.
Okay, so
Fresh Loopy Tortilla breakfast
which one are we
tacos,
doing
Philadelphia,
first?
and a fun
The
time
250.
together for a
the
fabulous
Ford.
Saturday morning cruise in, 8 to 11.
You weren't
Tailpipes
listening?
and tacos at Loopy's on
No,
Grand
he wasn't.
Parkway at Kingsland, just south
You
of
said
I-10.
truck. I didn't. I tell you, ride's a truck.
No, it's not. Are you sure today's the day for that?
Tonight's the night.
Is it really?
Yep. Turn back time. Turn it back an hour.
So this is our Halloween turn back time show. Remember, it's spring forward, fall back. That's what I thought. Is it next week? Okay, well.
That's okay. Everybody be to church early tomorrow.
Oh my God. Are you serious? You didn't do the research on this?
Yeah, I did. I thought.
You
I
thought. No,
'Cause it
it's
was
next,
always-
it's next weekend.
Okay, Harrison,
Look.
skip that music. We'll save it to next week.
Look, it says right on my phone in there, and I didn't even put it in.
I always thought it was October.
It's called Daylight Savings Time, and that's next Sunday. My God. Leave it to my partners in crime to lead me down the wrong path. You
Yeah,
know what?
Harrison.
This is what has happened to me. This is what has happened to me all my life. Once I started hanging around car guys, they led me down the wrong path. It's all their fault, sir.
Blame somebody else.
So here's our car review for today on this hour. The 2019 Ford F-250 House. It comes in several trim levels. One is starting off with the XL, the XLT, the Lariat, the King Ranch, and moving right on up. To the top is Platinum and then the Limited. I had the Limited.
Of course, you always get the top tier car.
This was the single rear-wheel drive 4x4 crew cab limited diesel.
Oh my gosh.
So I had it all for a week. And I don't believe I've ever driven anything from a factory, a regular American foreign car maker, as big as this.
Oh, this is huge.
It seats 5, but you could probably get a 30 clown posse inside that cab. It would be my guess. Exterior changes from last year, none. This is the biggest streetable vehicle that I have ever driven. Had to use the fold-down running board and the hand helper to climb into it. And I never have to do that. Usually I can just kind of, I'm 6'1", so I don't really necessarily have a problem getting into most tall cars.
But you got to step up to get into this.
Had to. Bold chrome grille, and I mean bold, man. This thing is like the teacher's chalkboard in high school, except it's not chalk black. It is chrome.
And then outlined by those neon lights.
Tailgate has a hidden ladder in it just to be able to get into the bed of the truck.
Because you need it.
What I liked about it was the multitude of optional trim levels. So I'll just say this once, and I learned this actually early on when I started reviewing cars. If you're going to buy a truck, whether it's a half-ton or a 1-ton, doesn't make any difference. You need to go, first of all, see if there's something around close to your house, like the state of Texas, that actually has all of the options that you really want. Otherwise, build it to order.
Yeah, well, and you still can do that. I don't think a lot of people realize you can specifically order.
And really, I mean, this is something that you're just not going to go and buy just to have. Although, I will tell you that I found out that a lot of people now aren't settling for the half-ton anymore. They're going for the 3/4 ton just for the look, not the towing capability, not the engine, not the hauling, not the tire, none of the above. It's the look.
They just want the big truck.
That raised up just slightly up a little bit. Big tires, just want that rugged, manly, masculine, He-Man look.
Well, let me just say this about that. It's going to cost you.
Well.
But I'm going to get to that in just a minute. The interior is as big as an efficiency apartment living room. I wrote that down here. Massive seats and center console. It does have the Sync 3 system, of course, and a B&O sound system.
B&O.
Bang & Olufsen.
Bang & Olufsen, yes,
Olufsen.
I think that's what it's called. But they call it now B&O. It's kind of like the
That's a
B&O
hard-
Railroad.
That's not a good nomenclature.
Plenty of storage throughout the cabin. What I liked about it was the optionability of not only the exterior, but the interior as well. Could use improvement. Road noise from those lug tires.
Yeah,
It's a truck.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the
And
nature
it's a
of the beast.
4x4, so you can take this thing up the side of a 5-story building if that's what you
Turn
want
the
to do.
B&O up.
As long as there aren't any sharp turns on the way up.
That's it. 3 cabs are available, regular, super cab, and crew cab, and 2 box lengths.
But do people really buy very many regular cabs anymore?
I want a work truck, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say just in a white work truck, but I can't imagine in anything else.
6.7-liter diesel V8, 450 horsepower, 935 pound-feet of torque. For the 2019, I did a little research, and they've even upped that more now. It's over 1,000 pound-feet of torque.
And that's just the race
For the
all 3
2020.
of them are making.
6-speed automatic transmission. Yes, as a matter of fact, the 2020 model Has 475 horsepower, 1,050 pound-feet of torque with a 10-speed automatic transmission. This model had the 6-speed automatic transmission. Tow rating, up to 25,000 pounds with the fifth wheel.
25,000 pounds on a single rear wheel.
Well, I didn't say that. No. It's up to 25,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Depends on how you've got it configured.
Properly equipped and all that stuff. Yeah.
Haul rating up to 10,800 pounds. I guess you could haul a couple of cars in the back if you could get them in there.
In a 3/4 ton truck.
22 miles per gallon on the highway, over 361 miles around, I don't know.
That's what you got was 22?
Who cares? Does it make any difference?
But that thing weighs 6,000 pounds, 7,000 pounds.
This thing, what I liked about it is I wrote down here, this thing will pull down buildings. What could use improvement? I can't imagine. Tanks, tank tracks, maybe perhaps. Base price, $33,150. Base model, $82,040.
Price as tested?
$84,500. It's more than the Mercedes-Benz AMG that I'm driving out there. Wow. Chevy 2500, Ram 2500, and the GMC, they're all competitors, and they're all pretty much priced the same.
But the AMC won't pull down a building.
No, it won't.
But it'll
get there in a hurry.
It'll get there in a hurry and be waiting for that truck to get there to do it, Tom.
Next hour, we're going to review the Kia Telluride. You know, you can watch this broadcast on Facebook.com/InWheelTime. And we'd like to thank you for joining us here on ESPN 97.5. Back after this quick break.
In Texas.
Clear. Seriously? Well, I never tried it for this reason.
You are
George Pelkey with Rolling Thunder. We're here with the Texas Fallen Heroes Wall.
Spell your last name.
Pelkey.
Okay.
You're the motorcycle bunch.
Yeah, we're primarily here with the Fallen Heroes Wall. It's all killed in action since in Iraq and Afghanistan since 2001.
Got it.
Just move the whole stand.
HoustonCarDealers.com gives you a complete list of local dealerships. Plus, you can learn about the great things local dealers do for our community, like the motorist assistance.
You got to go back that way a little bit because we lose George.
Check it out today.
There you go.
And we don't want to lose George. So way to go on the daylight savings time.
I thought it was always the last weekend of October.
Was that a big fatty you were smoking before you came to the show today, or what exactly was that?
The big bamboo?
Something. I'm not exactly sure.
All right, Harrison, save all that music for next weekend.
Yeah, I got it.
Just go to the Halloween stuff now. The Monster Mash. I put it back in the thing. Hey, Mars, you turned me off.
I hear some creaking doors. So when I got here today, I will tell you that I told Conrad here that we needed to have, this is a Halloween show because Halloween is coming up this week. So Conrad says to me, "Oh, it's daylight savings time going away." Wrong.
I'm a week early.
Yeah. Can you imagine telling the boss, "So, I'm sorry, I'm early today or late or however it works out."
I don't know if you've been to Walmart or Lowe's or those. They got Christmas, Thanksgiving,
and Halloween
all in the same.
Oh my gosh!
I don't even know where do I live. I forgot that. It's all so confusing. So in a remote studio with us is George Pelkey. He's with Rolling Thunder, and they bring about the Fallen Heroes Wall to this event. And we are today at the Guitars and Cars benefit car show out here at Sam Houston Race Park. And this is up here, the horse race track.
Right.
That's what everybody refers to it as, so
Right.
we're just going to call it that. George, great to see you, and thank you for stopping by and talking to us. You guys are the motorcycle bunch.
Right. We're probably most known for the Run to the Wall in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
And of course, it's kind of fading away for next year. It's kind of up in the air. We're not going to be doing it, but somebody else is definitely going to be going to that. But today we're here with the Texas Fallen Heroes Wall, which is a traveling wall we bring around to charity events. And it pictures of all of the killed in action from Iraq and Afghanistan, all from Texas up there, 656 right now. And they're up on the wall, you'll see their picture. They'll have their city where they enlisted, let's say Houston, and then it'll have the mission they were on when they're killed in action, say Iraqi freedom and the date and stuff like that on there. And we bring it around just to show people that there were a lot of people that paid the ultimate sacrifice for us in this war. And all of those are from Texas, so you can imagine just through the whole country how many there would be.
Actually, I'll go check. I know there was a local young man that was friends with my daughter and his sister, Scott Q. Larson, was killed in action in Iraq in 2005.
Yeah, we have them all there. They're how they died.
I think it was April 5th, 2005.
Dates on there, but we also have a book that's alphabetical, so we can tell you what panel they're on that way.
Very nice.
How cool is that?
So, did you bring any of your bikes out here?
No.
You didn't bring any of the bikes, you just brought the wall.
We brought the wall, and we unloaded the wall and stuff like that, and that was about it today.
So nobody rode out here today? Was it a little bit too chilly?
Well, we've been busy. We have another venue we got to go to tomorrow morning and set this wall up. So we've taken it down at 6, and then tomorrow morning we're setting it up at 6 o'clock in the morning out in Atascocita for a 5K run for Harris County Sheriff's Department type thing. Sweats for Vets is called.
Nice.
And we're out here primarily because we work in unison with the U.S. Vets, who is the main receiver of the money that comes in today. And they do a lot of veteran, they're the ones that get homeless vets off the street and give them a place to live and get them off of their drugs or alcohol or whatever they happen to deal with at the time.
Very commendable, very nice, and we sure appreciate all of you, all of your efforts, and thank you for stopping by and talking to us. It's right, matter of fact, right next to us here as you walk into the gate here at Sam Houston Race Park for the Guitars and Cars car show, the event that's out here. You're going to run right into your display here. So we really appreciate you stopping by and explaining to us what all's going on. And best of luck in raising some dough today for the vets and the facility that's down there, which I call the old Holiday Inn next to the old Sears, where the old Sears building used to be.
Yeah.
And if anybody travels in and out of downtown Houston on 59, the Southwest Freeway, you can't help but see it. It's right there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So, at any rate, thanks so much for stopping by.
I appreciate you having us.
Yeah.
Nice to be here.
So, do you guys have a place where, we can go and see what you guys do?
Not really. We have a website, but
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we do have a website. This is Chapter 2, Rolling Thunder TX2.
Rolling Thunder TX2. Yeah, very good. Well, thanks again for stopping by. We really appreciate it. It's great to talk to you.
Nice to be here.
Okay. George Pelkey with Rolling Thunder. Hey, if you got a question or comment for us here at In Wheel Time, shoot us an email. Our address is info@inwheeltime.com, or you can always reach us through our Facebook page as well. In Wheel Time continues after a quick break on ESPN 97.5.
Clear.
Is that speaker loud enough? Can you guys hear us out there? Oh, okay. I didn't know. I hear it now. Yeah. Hurry in to Jeep Adventure Days for great deals on the most legendary SUV lineup. Jeep is a registered trademark. Is it Jerry? Jerry?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If baby could talk, she'd say a lot. You'd know what she's thinking and what makes her happy.
You, sir, are in timeout.
Or remind you, you're the one taking her to daycare today, and she won't speak up if you drive.
Is it the Viper Club?
Yep.
That's what it's called?
Well, it's the Viper Owners Association. Is the national name, and this is the Houston chapter. Although we have some other members from other chapters here too. So it's the Viper Owners Association.
I'll let you straighten all that out. It's way too much for me.
Okay, will do.
Introducing the all-new Ram 1500 Laramie Longhorn. With premium leather, real barnwood accents, and the only 12-inch touchscreen media center in a truck. Because even in a state this big, we're always on to something bigger. Ram, built to serve.
What are we covering?
What do you want to cover?
I don't know.
Weather?
I did this 2 years ago with you guys. You were over there.
Yeah. From ESPN 97.5, it's Houston's most popular weekly award-winning car talk show in wheel time. Today, coming to you from Guitars and Cars at the Sam Houston Race Park. Just ahead in this half hour, our Ram Tracks feature, Conrad's Car Clinic. You didn't know you were going to do that today, but you are.
I'm prepared.
You're always prepared.
I'm ready.
Except he doesn't know what day it is, and he doesn't know that this is not
Daylight Savings Weekend?
Yeah.
Well, I know it's out there somewhere.
We're also going to have the events calendar. Of course, we don't know. It might have been last year's event. But we're also going to talk about the stories making automotive news headlines. All that coming up in this half hour. Today's show, presented by the Ram 1500, built for a world that demands more. And by Jeep. Hurry in today for great deals during the Jeep Adventure Day sales event. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars down there, and King Conrad DeLong right there, I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us. Turning out to be a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Houston, Texas. Again, Guitars and Cars is where we are at the Sam Houston Race Park, and it's a great. I want to say it's a cruise-in, but it is somewhat. But there are also cars that were trailered here, and I see that Randy Borcherding has got his paint house
toys
trailer, toy trailer over there. So I don't know whether he trailered those. We're going to find out.
Well, I saw him drive the 56 truck. I saw him actually drive that in this morning.
Did you?
So that one came in that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the 56 came in the trailer.
Did it?
Yeah. The GTO drove in, and the Ford F-150 drove in.
The trailer.
He was probably just driving it around to get it warmed up.
Man, that could be.
Gorgeous car.
Yeah,
oh, my gosh.
So we're going to talk to him. But right now, we have Jerry Robinson in our remote studio here, and he's with the Viper Club. For lack of a better term, let's just call it the Viper Club, the Houston Viper Club.
They call it something else,
I know.
Tom.
So I'm going to let him go ahead and tell us the exact name of the club.
Him? Who's him? Oh, that'd be me.
Yes.
Okay.
You, sir.
He fits right in.
Yes. It's the Viper Owners Association. It's the national club.
Uh-huh.
This happens to be the Houston chapter of the VOA is here today with a few members from the North Texas group that came down as well.
Awesome. That's good.
We support charities quite a bit. Last weekend our club was in Tyler, Texas, supporting their group up there in the Azelway home for young men that are troubled and need a home. And so we supported them, and now they've come down here and supporting this.
Very nice. Well, that's the way it works in car clubs.
Yes, sir.
How long you been a member?
2014.
2014. So not that long.
No, the Viper came back in 2013, and I saw a TV show where I didn't even know it had come back. And there was a Michael Andretti and I went blank on the other guy's name, but they were doing a test drive show, and there's the Viper on TV. And so the next day I had to go down and order one, and I've been hooked ever since.
So which one do you have?
Several.
So now the truth
Let's
comes
start
out.
at the top and work our way down.
The first one was a 2014 Custom Striker Red GTS, and then that Addiction was followed by an actual ACRX authentic race car.
Oh, okay. So that's a pure track car.
Pure track car, yeah, which I run. And then
with license plates on it and drive it on the street?
No. It doesn't even have a VIN. It's specific.
Oh, wow.
They only made 50.
So you can't even register it if you want it.
Oh, no, sir. Absolutely not. It's a track
not
only
legal,
car.
anyway. Yeah. Cool.
No, you can drive on the street. You get a minimum of 7 tickets when you do.
Anyway, so go ahead.
2016 ACR Extreme, which is here today. And then I have 2 Vipers that I've rescued from the flood of Hurricane Harvey that are being restored rather than crushed.
Would you pick those up out at Baytown at the track?
No. We have 2 club members, husband and wife, in our club, and the house just got consumed within minutes. Water went up so fast they couldn't get them out. So I got them from them, helped them replace it with a brand new one and work with them and their insurance company to keep them from getting crushed, because that's what was going to happen to them.
Yeah, what a shame. So many good cars got destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
So are you also being treated for an addiction currently? Or?
Yeah. There's my agent right there. She's
shaking her head, yes.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, she lets me race them, and it's all good.
Well,
so are you part of the pit crew?
She has been, yes. She's been behind the wall doing tire temperatures and everything. Yeah.
Love that. Well, that's a good thing.
Wearing her Houston Astros shirt.
Now, were you married to her before you became addicted, or?
Yes.
You were.
And still am. Yes.
Yeah. And well, she's still married to you despite your addiction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you get to drive them?
She doesn't want to. So I want to know about the race car. Is the race car here?
No, sir.
It's not. So tell me more about the race car. I'm fascinated. I didn't know that there were 50 of them built and they don't have VIN numbers.
There was a series back in 2010 called the Viper Cup Series. Just like there's a Porsche Cup Series and Corvette Challenge Series.
I recall it, yes.
Okay, well, if you had one of those, where do you go and race that today? And I bought it from the guy that actually campaigned it in that series, and it became eligible to run in the vintage car series. How can a Dodge Viper be a vintage car? It had to be in a series that was an authentic series, and it has to be a minimum of 6 years old. So in 2016,
it does fit.
It fits. So I was the very first Viper ever allowed in the SVRA, Sports Car Vintage Racing Association. It's the largest vintage series out there. I believe this gentleman here in the Lotus also runs in that series as well. So cars from all different eras run in that.
The Lotus 11 sitting there, which is caught my attention when I first saw it.
He's not in my run group, so
no, I wouldn't think so.
So I don't
so
want
were you
him
at COTA a couple of weeks ago?
Absolutely.
And so when you register to race that car, what class do they typically put you in?
I'm what's considered modern production, and then there's a modern production group 1, 2, and 3.
The baddest and the fastest. Tell you some of the prototype stuff.
Well, Group 12, I'll run with a lot of Corvette Challenge cars from the late 80s, Porsches, not the newer Porsches. They have a separate class for those. Panos, if you're familiar with the Panoses fit in that category. We call ourselves the land of misfit toys because we are newer cars and there's not that many people running that type of car.
So when they clump you into this class, do they try to keep you competitive with each other?
Yes.
So how do you compete with the others? Where do you place when you...
Okay, are you familiar with like watching the Rolex 24?
Yeah.
Okay, and there'll be 4 different classes running. Yes, it's very similar to that or IMSA series where they have 3 to 4 different classes. So.
Right. So typically how many in your class run in that particular race?
Our class, because of the modern production one, is a relatively small group. If we've got 10 or more cars, that's a big weekend. So they lump us in, for instance, like COTA with Group 6, which is the muscle car Trans Am series cars of the 60s and 70s. And there'll be 50 of those guys. So you're out on track with those guys.
So you're running Camaros,
Mustangs,
Firebirds, Mustangs,
AMXs.
Oh, that's cool.
Every once in a while, a CUDA or a Challenger, depending on what part of the country you're in.
And there's some guy that runs a Dodge Valiant or a Plymouth Valiant in that series as well.
I haven't seen him. I haven't. Now you're thinking of a guy in CVAR, a local Texas chapter.
Yeah.
Okay. CVAR is a 1972 and older vintage group. The SVRA is all the way from 6 years
old.
As long as you make
the way back.
you make the classic qualifications, whatever.
Have you ever run down there at Houston Motorsports Ranch?
In some what we call DE, driver experience type things, but SVRA doesn't run there. CVAR does. SVRA runs all the big boy tracks, as they call them. Indy, Mid-Ohio, Watkins Glen, Road America, Road Atlanta.
So do you try and make as many of them as you can?
I do 3 or 4 a year. Next year I'm going to step it up and probably do 5 to 6.
As long as the pit crew shows up,
right? She loves going to Road America. She likes that. That place is awesome.
My home state.
Oh, beautiful place.
Yeah.
Fast, too.
It's very Viper friendly. It flows really good.
Does your sphincter tighten up at the kink?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can you say that on the radio?
Oh, yeah.
I guess you can. I guess you did.
It's a half a mile longer than COTA and you run almost the exact same time. That's how much faster.
Oh,
it is.
wow.
Yeah.
Lots of straights.
It's a great track.
Well, we want to hang with you one weekend. So
Yeah, like the weekend you go to Coda.
Next November, the first week in November next year.
All right, so where are you going to go in the spring? Have you decided yet?
I'm already signed up for Road America, Mid-Ohio in the summer. My coach is trying to talk me into going to Sebring in February.
Oh,
yeah,
that'll be interesting.
Well, it's great to talk to you. Great to see you again. Thanks for coming.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, and thank you very much for representing the local chapter of the Vipers Club.
The Viper Owners Club.
Owners Association.
He drives a damn Viper, okay? How's that? Is that okay?
Sponsored by Ram.
A couple of them.
That was the sponsor.
That'll work. That'll work. Do you tow with a Ram?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah.
Jerry Robinson, thanks again. We really appreciate you stopping
Glad
by.
to be here.
Time now for Ram Tracks in Wheel Time's weekly look into the Ram Nation, and Mr. Mars has that.
Speaking of Ram trucks, one of the things that I really like about the newer trucks is the tailgates. When you go to drop the tailgates, they don't just go klunk and fall down on you. They've got those cylinders in it to kind of slow it down.
Cushion the blow,
Cushion the blow, as it were. Well, it just so happens that a company called DZ, D-E-E-Z-E-E, has a tailgate assist that you can put on your earlier model Dodge Ram truck tailgate.
I've heard of DZ before.
Yeah, they make a lot of products, but this basically, it's exactly like the pistons that go on a lift gate, a manual lift gate, except it's for the tailgate. And a lot of vehicles, unbeknownst to me, the way they put the hinges in and they put all the attachments for the cables for the tailgate are made so that you can put this attachment on there. They've got the ball points on there, and this is a simple bolt-on installation. They say it takes less than 15 minutes to put this on there, and your tailgate will no longer drop down. It'll lower itself, slowly because of those pistons.
And where do you find it?
And well, I found it on. I found it in a story on one of the Ram truck forums, but you can actually get it from Amazon. It's called the DZ Tailgate Assist.
So does that make it Ramazon?
Oh my God. Here, have some more of that Bloody Mary.
Yeah. Please do.
Coming up, stories making automotive news headlines and more just ahead on the In Wheel Time radio program here on ESPN 97.5.
David liked it.
There. What spot are we on, Harrison?
And those who live large.
Break 4. Spot 9.
Okay, thank you.
That is such a beautiful car, but I know I couldn't fit in it. The Lotus 11. If I could get down in it, I'd need a hoist to get my butt out of it.
We're always on to something bigger.
I'd be afraid I'd hurt myself trying to get in it.
Oh, my gosh.
Conrad's Car Clinic, what are we talking about?
Well, I've held this for a few weeks. This is Highway Hi-Fi.
Well, we're not on just yet. Which one is this?
The record players in cars.
Oh, cool.
We never have done it.
I love it.
You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses.
I told Mars on the phone, and I'll tell you now that I see you in person, is that I'm going to do my darndest not to cancel the car clinic any longer.
No, we're okay. I don't,
so
react.
it is a priority, and we've got it on here for a reason, and I think we need to stick with that.
I'm okay. There's flexibility. I'm fine.
Well, once in a while maybe, but we've gotten the habit of it, so we need to fix it.
Events calendars after that.
Right after it?
Well, not immediately, but pretty close. There may be a 15-second lag between.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Well, you got 1 minute.
Yes, sir. I can have one, but not both.
It's the Halloween show of the In Wheel Time radio program, coming to you live today from Guitars and Cars. Well, live depending on where you are watching or listening this program. If you're listening to it on the radio, it is a tape delay today because of the Texas 3 to 5. But if you're watching on Facebook currently, then we are live. We'll also play back the Facebook broadcast that to coincide with the radio broadcast at 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's way too confusing when we have to do this delayed broadcast thing, but whatever the case. It is Houston's #1 car show in real time on ESPN 97.5. We're going to try to get back to Conrad's Car Clinic. We've been missing it for a few weeks, and we're going to do our darndest to put it back on the schedule every week. And he's been holding this story, and it's not time to hold on to it anymore. It's time to spin it, and that would be a record player in a car.
Oh, yeah. In 1956, Chrysler Corporation released Highway Hi-Fi, and they released it in the Chrysler, the DeSoto, the Dodge, and the Plymouth brands. And what it was a literal record player that mounted to the underside of the dash. And in it, it was only about 4 inches high and, about 12 inches wide. And it mounted under the dash. It had very specific 7-inch discs that spun at 16 2/3 RPM. Remember, the 45 was the small one. The album was the 33 1/3. This one spun so much slower at 16 2/3 RPM. And it was a very heavy, thick record itself, and then the arm that laid on top
weighed
of
about
it,
15 pounds to keep it in the groove, and it wouldn't jump out of there.
Exactly right.
And I guess that the actual tracks themselves were limited as to
about 45 minutes for the.
No, but what I mean as far as the artists were
selection.
concerned.
I'm sure. And those discs are very, very collectible today because there's quite a number of other manufacturers. After Chrysler released theirs, GM released it. They had it in Oldsmobiles, Cadillacs, and Buicks. Then it was also released in a couple of Ford products. Jaguar used the Chrysler piece and put it in their XKEs. And there was some photographs of the Beatles who had their albums playing in their Jaguar E-types, and a very famous picture of George Harrison with his E-type with it in it. The vinyl records, besides being thicker, were much more heat resistant just because if it was sat in the car for a period of time, it had to solve that. Now, so they were in production from 56 through 61, and then kind of fell out of production because driving down the highway, they probably didn't stay in sync very well.
Jumped the groove.
But if you think about it, Chrysler was quite creative in the music world,
in the entertainment
industry in your car, because guess who was the first one to put an 8-track tape player in a car?
Would that be Chrysler?
It was Chrysler in 1968. I thought they were out earlier than that, but apparently production-wise, Chrysler was the first one to put an 8-track tape player in a car. And I have an 8-track in the Rally 350, a factory 8-track in my 1970.
It work?
Absolutely.
Do you have any 8-tracks?
Yeah, I have 2 of them. One of them is The Best of the Animals, and the other one is Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
And you mean to tell me they still play?
And you want to go listen to it? It works in my car.
No, because it'd be my luck that it would stick in there.
Yeah,
I don't take it. I don't take it in and out. I just leave it in there and it plays
the same songs over. And
That's
over.
okay. I have an 8-track player that works. I think it's pretty cool.
That's right.
So it just shows the creativity of Chrysler.
Good luck in getting repair parts for that.
I know. Well, that and and then after the 8-track, it was a cassette player, and then it was the CD player.
And now it's nothing.
Well, now it's there's a lot of cars you can't even get a CD player in anymore.
Why would you want to? It's all on your phone.
Everything is digital.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Conrad's Car Clinic. Be sure and listen for that next week.
The option cost was $51.75.
That's a lot.
In 56.
That's a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this reminder, if you're a member of a car club, we'd like to put your group in our car club spotlight. All you have to do is shoot us an email with the contact information and send it to info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for the events calendar. And there are so many things going on. I asked Conrad to keep it to a minute because it would probably be 5 minutes long if we went.
Well, Nifty 50s tonight at Grogan's Mill Mall. That's Randy's
trunk and treat?
Annual trunk or treat.
Yeah.
Otto's Barbecue is doing a night tonight. It's Thunderbirds, and they're also doing a kids' candy giveaway. I just completely lost my mind here. I went to a couple of weeks ago. Went to the high school at Klein Forest High School. what a great show that is. We're going to figure out how to have Jonathan come back on the show and talk about his show and his event. The Speed Advocates Trick or Trunk is Rudy's Barbecue, and that is this coming Wednesday, October 30th. Saturday, November 9th, is the Gobble Run out at Houston Raceway Park. And we're also going to have
the Gobble Run?
The Gobble Run. It's kind of like a poker run.
Okay.
And then here in a few minutes, we're going to have
I'm not saying
the Veterans Bastrop Days Veterans Car Show. We're going to talk to Bill Zelag as well, and that's Saturday the 9th. And I'm going to try and go out there.
So that'll be after we fall back with the daylight savings
After we
time.
fall back, I get that extra hour.
Not this
next
weekend.
Next Saturday.
This week's automotive news coming up next here on the In Wheel Time radio program on ESPN 97.5. And thanks for joining us this Saturday afternoon on the radio. And thanks for joining us also on our social media platforms. We'll be back right after this quick break.
It drops, but
There.
it stays in the background running.
It's like the iPad's dropping.
Right. So I haven't figured
What's
out.
the issue now?
No, we're still running. Just every now and then the iPad goes blank, but when we come back to it, it's still running. I still see it running.
Do you
on my
ever
phone.
clean all of the junk off the back of all the stuff that's in there? No, not that way. In the interior.
We're not going to do a replay on Facebook. It will be there for people that can pull it up and read it. But last week, whenever I was going to do that at Tailpipes and Tacos, I spent an hour and a half. I ran the battery down on the computer. The Wi-Fi still wouldn't. They wouldn't give me the passcode. So I was trying to use my phone. And it takes too long. We can't process it. We can't download it off the internet, process it, and upload it back to Facebook at scheduled time in less than an hour.
Have you spoken with Mr. Engineer over here?
Well, not yet. I mean, it'll only come down so fast and it'll only go up so fast.
Well, he's nodding his head. Okay. No, I don't know.
I mean, we can do it. We just can't do it that fast. But it's already there if somebody wants to find it. Absolutely. We just can't schedule
well,
it.
Why don't you just try to explain that to everybody when we come back? Because I don't even know what platform you're talking about.
Well, Facebook and YouTube, same thing.
Halloween music on the In Will Time radio program on ESPN 97.5. I'm sure that music is something. It's, I don't know if it's spooky or it's more along the lines of Rod Serling or what exactly that is, but it was good. Made me think about life on another planet. You were listening to the In Wheel Time radio car show on ESPN 97.5. And before we get to the automotive stories making headlines this week, Mr. Mars is going to try to explain to us all exactly what is going on with the video feed, when and where it's not appearing.
So
go ahead, please.
So we're doing the live stream right now from the event. It goes out to Facebook and it goes out to YouTube, both. Now, both of them will record it, and it'll reside there. So today, tomorrow, anytime you want to go look at it, you can. But for us to reschedule a live rebroadcast, we've got to download it off the internet. We got to put it together. Then we got to upload it back to Facebook and schedule it within 10 minutes of when we want it to go live. And out here remotely, we don't have the bandwidth. We can't process it that fast, so we can't really schedule it.
So I've been lying to our listeners.
No,
and you've let me lie to them.
Well, I was going to continue to let you, but I thought, it's Halloween,
After the show, you can come to my house and do it. I should have the bandwidth there.
How long does it take to get to your house?
Oh, my God.
10 minutes.
Could we have that conversation
And how long does
later?
it take to pick up?
So welcome back to the In Wheel Time radio program. And there is some automotive news that I needed to get to before we go into the second hour of the program. And the United Auto Workers Association will focus negotiations on Ford Motor Company after hourly members at General Motors ratified a 4-year labor pact that includes significant wage gains and bonuses, ending a 40-day national strike that has idled plants in 3 countries, not even talking about all of the suppliers. And they've had to stop making cars, not just General Motors cars, but a lot of other cars because
part supply.
Yeah. So,
and
union,
dealerships are still struggling.
A union spokesman said negotiations with Ford will begin immediately. UAW's final numbers show that 56% of GM production workers and 66% of skilled trades employees voted in favor of the deal, which in my estimation ain't much. Speaking of Ford, Ford Motor Company's Jim Hackett and Wall Street analysts started this year frustrated with one another. Sure, the automaker had been underperforming, but the CEO appealed for time to show he was fixing things. He assured them that the redesigned Explorer, rolling out months later, would be proof point. But rather than help the third quarter earnings results Ford delivers this week, the Explorer will be a hindrance, it seems.
I think it might.
Sales have plunged as a plant plagued by personnel problems has struggled to get the new crossover utility vehicle out the door. Thousands have been shipped 270 miles away to another Ford factory for rework. Rework. The botched Explorer launch puts Mr. Hackett back in the position he was earlier this year, testing the patience of investors. A downbeat assessment of how long it'll take to turn the automaker around already cost the company an investment-grade credit rating. And by pointing to the CUV as one of the first products he influenced, the CEO staked his reputation on it. The transformation of Ford's Chicago assembly plant was one of the most complex in the company's history, a spokesperson said. The company is shipping the new Explorer, the all-time best-selling utility vehicle nameplate in the U.S., to dealers now and performing additional quality inspections as needed.
Ouch.
Yeah. So I don't know as if I would,
lost control.
I don't know as if I would be buying a Ford Explorer right now. I think I'd wait.
It really is one of their best-selling vehicles. I mean, people that have them
But
love them.
this is the all-new one.
Well,
this is the one that is just apparently some sort of a nightmare. Speaking of Ford Motor Company, on Wednesday they reported a 57% drop in third quarter net income and lowered its full-year profit guidance, citing anticipated higher warranty and incentive costs and weaker sales in China. Shares in Ford fell 5.9% to $8.66 in early trading on Thursday.
And now they're going to be a target of the UAW. Oh, this is going to be painful.
My God. We get our news from Automotive News, and including this story, which I wanted to make it a point to be sure and get on the air because I think it is significant, and I wanted to read it. Racing icon and automotive retail leader Roger Penske has received the nation's top civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, from President Trump. Trump awarded the medal to Penske, Team Penske owner and CEO of Penske Automotive Group, the nation's second largest auto retailer, during a ceremony Thursday in the Oval Office at the White House. Penske's transportation services company, Penske Corporation, includes a portfolio of auto retail, racing, truck leasing, truck rental, logistics, and fleet services businesses that collectively employ more than 64,000 people. I did not realize he was that large.
Well, but it's spread out over a couple of different business models.
Well, I just read all those.
And there's actually 2 Penske operations here in town. That's Spring Branch Honda, or Honda of Spring Branch, which is there at Beltway 8 and I-10 West. And then Honda of Spring, which is just south of 1960 on 45 North.
In addition to his business empire, Penske, nicknamed the Captain, was inducted into the Automotive Hall of Fame in 2015 and NASCAR Hall of Fame this year. A winning racer in the 50s and 60s, Penske retired from driving in 65 to focus on his first business, a Chevrolet dealership in Philadelphia. He then assembled his own racing teams where he has
Mark Donahue.
Shined. Penske has more than 500 wins and has won the most Indianapolis 500 races as an owner, taking home 18 checkered flags. So congratulations to him.
Well deserved.
Back with the second hour of our broadcast after a quick break. You're listening to the In Wheel Time radio program here on ESPN 97.5.
At Jeep Adventure Days
And your favorite Penske car.
I've got Bill, guys.
Okay.
Your favorite Penske car would be
Harrison, which
the
break are you
69
on?
Camaro of Mark Donahue, that dark blue one.
Break
Number
6, last break of the hour.
So why I'm showing a Ram spot.
Me too. Spot number 15 for this hour.
Yeah, you guys are right.
Should be.
That was my bad. I had the wrong script in front of me.
You really want to make the most of your so-called middle-aged crisis.
We need to kind of.
I can just run Ram right now if that works, or fit it in again later.
You can run it now.
Copy that.
Well, wait a minute. This is a HADA spot. Are we a break behind? No.
No. I was just looking at the 1 o'clock script on accident.
Okay. So you don't have to run HMP.
No.
You're just doing that. So no, right. So run Ram now. All right. Are we back on track?
Yeah, we're good. The only thing we've missed is the train's PSA.
Oh, I don't care about that.
Yeah, we
figured.
Yeah, we need to double check that when you get a chance that we got all the Ram and Jeeps in.
Yeah, that was the only break where I was off.
Okay.
Because I moved the script to call Bill.
Okay, well, an extra Jeep's okay.
Cool.
Ram, built to serve. When properly equipped, Ram is a registered
Oh,
trademark of
Harrison,
SUS
though.
LLC.
So Bill Zelag is top of the hour with the Bastrop days.
It's hour number 2 of Houston's number 1 weekly award-winning car talk show in wheel time on ESPN 97.5. Today coming to you from the Guitars and Cars show at Sam Houston Race Park. Just ahead, more folks from today's event. In the new car showroom, we'll review the Kia Telluride. We'll have our Jeep Trails feature, and you'll hear the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Just ahead on this week's In Wheel Time Radio Car Show. Today's program presented by Jeep. Hurry in today for great deals during the Jeep Adventure Day sales event. And by the Ram 1500, built for a world that demands more. Along with Mike out of this world Mars down there, and King Conrad DeLong here. I'm Don Armstrong here. Thank you for joining us. And it's a great day. The skies are partly cloudy. It is cool. It is sweater weather. It is fall, finally, in Houston, Texas.
Well, fall usually lasts about 3 days in Houston, so I'm glad.
Well, thanks a lot,
out
Mr.
here.
Party Pooper. Let's just be the Debbie Downer here, shall we?
But what a great day for a car show. Just kind of cool, slight breeze. It's not, the sun's not burning on top of my head. And then some gorgeous
And you
cars
got a
here.
lot of head for it to start buying. What's happened to your hair?
Not enough hair.
Yeah.
But some gorgeous cars. The XKE sitting down there. The Lotus 11, the 68 Camaro, 67 Camaro, SS in front of us.
A big contingency of Corvette people are here as well. I saw them.
All the way on the other end, over there by the Viper guys.
Yeah, it's very nice. So, do we have Bill on the line with us?
Yeah.
Here? Oh, we do. Okay. Well, very good. So we're going to talk to him. On the line with us now is Mr. Bill Selag, and he is with the Bastrop Cruisers. And I understand also, Bill, that you're former senior executive at General Motors.
Well, I don't know if I would say senior executive, but I had some interesting jobs there. So thanks for letting me on the show today.
You had some interesting jobs there. Yeah, well, very good. Well, so you got coming up next weekend, the Bastrop Days Veterans Car Show. Is that what it is?
2 weekends.
2 weekends away.
Yeah, it's actually on November 8th and 9th, which is Friday and Saturday. And Friday we have what we call a cruise in. And the cruise in is we close the streets downtown and people just kind of enjoy you might say, the environment of what the car show is going to be the next day. Many of our 14 or so downtown beautiful restaurants and other retail stores give discounts. And then on Saturday we do the car show, which goes from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. The cruise in is from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. And that's again on November 8th and 9th.
November 8th and 9th. So we will be back into Central Standard Time at that point of the year, because next weekend we fall back, and daylight savings time goes away, and we go back to Central Standard Time.
Next weekend?
Next weekend, yeah. So the
Not this weekend.
The car show that he's talking about in Bastrop is in 2 weeks.
Veterans weekend, Veterans Day weekend. Bill, I haven't talked to them yet. I'm planning on coming out. I have to get permission to miss the show on the 9th. So we'll figure that out.
But if he misses the show and comes out there, then he's going to have to do remote reports from your show.
Well, we'll be happy to accommodate him in any way. And
Do you live there, Bill?
one of the big features of the event is, since it is near Veterans Weekend, we always have it around the same time, and this is the 14th annual, is that we honor veterans in every way possible. We have a veteran ceremony, which is like a march down the street by any veterans, whether they're registered for the car show or not, which starts at the Bastrop Museum, and from that march, we meet at the veterans meet at the museum, in front of the museum at 10:30. We have, and then at 10:45 they march 2 blocks down the street, right in between all the cars on the street, and much like you see honor flight. Honorees at the airports, everybody's just applauding them. We have the ROTC. We have, with the color guard, we have a flyover from a vintage airplane, and we honor veterans. Each veteran who enters their car in the car show gets a veteran's ribbon on their lanyard, so they're identified all day. And also at that museum, there's a beautiful exhibit of Camp Swift, which is near Bastrop, which played a large part in World War II, and admission at the museum is half price, but there were thousands of soldiers that were trained at Camp Swift near Bastrop. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow, nice.
And that's part of why we wanted to have you call in today, is because today we're at the car show in Houston for U.S. Vets Houston. So it's another fundraiser for U.S. veterans. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So do you live out there?
Yes, I live in Bastrop. My wife and I live here for about 12 years now, and it's a beautiful little town, very historic town in Bastrop. It's one of the oldest cities or towns in Texas, and we have at least many restaurants downtown. The show is actually downtown Bastrop, so it's on the street. We close up all the streets. We work very closely with the city. We get great support from all the city departments, the police, the parks department, and also there are a couple of entities in town that further support the event. Visit Bastrop.com, which is a great organization that encourages tourism in Bastrop, and then they have a Bastrop Downtown organization also, which is a big part of supporting our event here, as well as the city and all the departments of the city.
How many bedrooms in your house?
Pardon me?
How many bedrooms do you have in your house?
In our town, you said?
No, in your house where you live. How many bedrooms?
Oh, in my house?
Yes.
I'm not a veteran myself, but I'm just trying to.
No, not veterans, bedrooms.
No. Bedroom. Well,
how many people can you sleep in your house?
How many people can you sleep there at your house, Bill?
Oh, okay. Now I'm getting to lodging. Okay, well, we actually have 4 bedrooms.
Uh-huh.
And we
1,
use
2,
3 of them
3.
because we do have people. We actually have friends coming from Chicago to come down for the show, and they're going to help volunteer for it.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear.
About 150 volunteers.
I'm really glad to hear all of that. I'm thinking maybe we could all camp out in your garage. But Bill, it's great to talk to you. With the Bastrop Cruisers big event at the downtown Bastrop next week, 2 weekends away. So, Bill, thanks again for joining us. We appreciate it. Good luck on your event, and hopefully we'll be talking to you then.
Okay, well, thanks so much. We do appreciate the time, and good luck to you guys at your car show that you're over there today for.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we review the all-new Kia Telluride in our new car showroom. Be sure and stay in touch with us all week long by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and through InWheelTime.com. Thanks for joining us on ESPN 97.5.
Clear.
We know fortune favors the bold and those who live large. Introducing the all-new Ram 1500 Laramie Longhorn.
Now we have Mr. Painthouse.
Leather, real barnwood accents, and the only 12-inch touchscreen media center in a truck. Because even in a state this big, we're always on to
How many
something
veterans do you have at your house?
Ram, built to serve. Wood properly equipped. Rams are
I think he was trying to ignore you.
No, he couldn't hear us.
911, what's your emergency?
Howdy, sir.
Hello, gents.
How are you?
Let me ask you this. Do you think that we could do shots from the bar down there? Are they selling shots?
I don't know.
Randy, you know, you're in. So what's your preference? Do you like tequila, vodka?
Good tequila or bourbon. Yeah.
A bourbon.
Tequila.
I don't know about how good it would be. I mean, we're out here in the parking lot.
They got some Maker's Mark. Looked about as good as it gets.
I like that.
Yeah.
That Mustang over there is themed for Maker's Mark. The black 65, you can't see it now.
Oh,
really?
On the far end?
Shift knob says Maker's Mark. It's got a
Got the little melted wax handle things on it.
suitcase in the back fitted with 2 bottles of glasses. You
Oh, cool.
Because 1 bottle ain't enough.
That's true.
It's one bottle for you, one bottle for me.
Because 1 is none and 2 is 1.
That's it. So pull this microphone up here.
Oh, he's being cool. You know,
Yeah.
he's kind of like
No, he's not. It's still not up.
flat
like,
billers. Right up here, right here in the front.
Perfect.
Better. We there?
Excuse me, but try that.
How do I look?
You look cool.
The creepy and
I think
the
it's the
kooky,
glasses.
mysterious and spooky. They're all together. Ookie, the Addams Family.
The in real time family.
Hey, it's Houston's most in-depth radio car
somebody's
show
already
and
getting
sing-along
into
here on In Wheel Time on ESPN 97.5 and streaming right now on Facebook and ESPN 97.5, the mobile app. You know, I have written down here that this is supposed to be the new car showroom. He's just here early.
He's early.
He's ready for the free liquor.
He's escaping over there.
I understand.
His wife's been making him work.
So I just wanted to let everybody know that the fabulous, the famous, the effervescent, the ever-popular Randy Borcherding from Paint House is sitting by, ready to go on the air. And he will be with us and joining us. And we're going to have a conversation about shots and liquor.
Yeah, hopefully he'll bring some back with him.
Right after this car review by Mr. Mike Mars and the all-new Kia Telluride. Take it away. Hello.
Hello. I was answering something here on that. From one of our many
Well,
listeners.
don't pay
in
any
the
attention
other
to
universe.
us there, Mr. Mars. Just go ahead.
So we're talking about the 2020 Kia Telluride. Now this is the SX all-wheel drive model. And this is a mid-size, and we're talking about a large mid-size SUV. It's actually the largest Kia that's ever been made. They don't make anything any bigger. You can get it in front-wheel drive. You can get it in all-wheel drive. It's actually up to 8-passenger vehicle because you can get it with 3 rows on it, depending on how you get the second row. So it is a new vehicle. So it comes in. They designed it specifically to be boxy, bold. It's got a lot of nice straight lines, so it gives it a real solid stance, long hood, real upright windshield, so that when you set up in it, you've got a real big field of vision in it. Up front, you're going to find an LED lighting package with headlights, fog lights. You're going to find rain-sensing wipers. It's got a standard front tilting sunroof, and we also had the optional rear fixed sunroof, so that almost the whole top of it's glass. And we had the acoustic windshield, and the front door glass is acoustic, which makes it a real quiet riding vehicle, so that whenever you crank the stereo up, it even gets it better. Had the power folding heated side mirrors, a smart lift gate. We had the optional 20-inch black finish wheels on it. And with the dark gray coloring that we had, it was really nice combination. And if you get into the inside of it, now we had the Napa leather seats. The front seats are heated and vented. The second row, we had the captain's chairs. And they were heated and vented also. And that meant the third row is a 60-40 folding, but it'll also recline. So it's got a lot of flexibility in the seating. We had a 10-inch screen up front with the surround view camera set up so you can see all the way around the vehicle. We also had a heads-up display, and we also can control the Harman Kardon 630-watt surround audio from that screen. And we had the Android, Apple CarPlay, had all the wireless phone chargers, had a lot of technology in this thing. We had the 6 USB ports, so it's got a little bit of everything for everybody. Behind the second row, when you can... Behind the third row, you had 21 cubic feet of storage. Behind the second row, you had 46 cubic feet of storage. So you can get 87 cubic feet in this thing behind the front seats. Now, under the hood, you're going to have a little bit of juice to make all this go. So the 3.8-liter V6, now it does have 291 horsepower at 6,000 RPM. So you got to wind it up to get that up there because the 262 pound-feet of torque is maxed out at about 5,200 RPM. So it's got a little bit higher power band in it, but seems to run really well, and it's backed by an 8-speed automatic. And it does have, when properly equipped, a tow rating of 5,000 pounds. Now, the EPA says you should be looking for about 19 miles to the gallon on the city, 24 on the highway, with a combined of 21. And I actually got 21 out of it, driving it around, coming over here to Houston and things.
Surprising, because you usually flog everything you drive.
Well, it was a really nice driving vehicle. Wasn't anything you really wanted to hot rod or anything else, just comfortable. It does come with 4 drive modes. You can get Smart, the Eco, the Sport, or the Comfort. And the Comfort and the Sport, when you switch between those two, you can really feel the difference in the settings on it between just the power steering, the transmission shift points, and you can actually tell the difference. When you get out on the highway, it's got a really solid feel, but it doesn't feel real heavy, like it's a big, heavy car out there. And you get that same light feeling inside the city. It seems not really nimble, but it's not really cumbersome to drive around inside town. If you're looking for something to compare it to, you're going to be looking possibly at the Ford Explorer. It starts at around $32,765. Even the new Volkswagen Atlas is very comparable in the fact that where they brought it to the market and for the same purpose and for the same segment. So you're looking at $31,545 to start there. And the Highlander starts at about the same price range at $31,830. Now, you can get a base Telluride at $31,690. And there are the 4 different trim levels. But you step up to where we are with the SX all-wheel drive, the base is going to start at $43,490. Add in a couple of little options, and our MSRP is tested is $46,860.
Not bad.
So if you're looking for a newer, little bit different mid-size SUV that's a large mid-size.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a big
mid-size. It's one of the bigger mid-size. Then this is something you ought to look at.
All right, we'll do that. It's the In Wheel Time radio program, Houston's most popular car talk show here on ESPN 97.5. Randy Borcherding with Paint House standing by. We'll have him right after this quick break.
Clear.
Ready to take on any forecast. As others seek shelter, you'll sprint toward adventure and the remarkably efficient Jeep Cherokee and the luxurious Grand Cherokee. Or a Jeep Compass with over 70 standard and available safety and security features. Or get up close and personal with the elements.
Did you bring 2 cars here?
5.
Stepping it up.
I had nothing better to do.
Good. For some reason, David, my headset's gotten really loud.
Maybe it did when you had Z-Leg on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to crank it up for us.
It's still loud. Hello. Hello? Still loud. My headset here.
He's got voices in his head.
Yeah. Hello. 1 2 1 2 1 2
and
1
they're
2
loud.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. That's good. Thank you.
We all want to be you.
I can't hear the radio station at all, but that's better. That's good enough.
Goldilocks here.
Goldilocks, yeah.
It's too warm.
It's all about me.
It's just right.
Sorry.
See, you got air suspension on the Chevy truck.
Yes. I don't.
It looks cool. Looks cool.
Not a big
down.
fan of it.
No.
There's always something not working quite right.
Welcome back to the In Wheel Time radio program here on ESPN 97.5. We're coming to you today from Guitars and Cars at the Sam Houston Race Park, sometimes known as the Horse Racetrack. It fits because there's so many other racing thing venues.
Beltway 8 and 249.
So, yeah, it's the Horse Racetrack. In our remote studio out here at this wonderful car show and beautiful weather, I might add.
Indeed.
Randy Borcherding with Paint House, custom shop here in town, and just found out, usually bring a couple of cars, but this weekend he decided to bring 5.
Yeah, they need to get driven.
Yeah.
Cars
and who drives the 5 cars out here?
Family, friends, strangers.
Can I volunteer?
Sure.
Call me next time.
Yeah,
I'll be glad
yeah.
to drive one.
Yeah.
I don't want to drive one. I'll ride in one. I don't need that pressure, But so, Randy, I'm thinking that we need to volunteer you for one of these television shows on Motor Trend TV. I mean, this is the Dave Kindig of Houston, Texas, right here.
Oh my God. Hardly.
Well, I mean, I don't know what you think of him. I don't know the man.
I like Dave. I know him.
Danny Counts.
He's a good guy.
Well, he runs a really wonderful operation there from what we see on television. And we all know that there's a lot of flash and all that stuff with TV. But I can tell you that he turns out some really nice stuff. And has assembled a bunch of guys.
Craftsmen.
That are with him that are truly remarkable in what they do. And I've not seen another show like it. There are other shows out there that are similar, but his quality of work is stupendous, and so is yours. And that's why I lump you two together.
I appreciate that. I'm not sure I belong there, but thank you.
Well, you do. So don't shortchange yourself. So let's start with the pickup truck that you've got over there. I saw it when I pulled in. I saw it rolling down the road here, and I thought that looks like a Randy Borcherding job right there. And you know what the tip-off was? Not only the paint job. I mean, it's a beautiful truck, but it's that little piece of chrome on the front fender.
The side.
Yep.
Right.
I thought that's Randy. It's kind of like a signature of yours. It's just that little touch that sets it apart. You know what I'm saying?
We try and do special things, but not ruin what's right about it.
Right. It's the subtle things like that draw my attention, and obviously yours. And you put it on there to do just what it did.
Right. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Just the cherry on top, so to speak.
Yeah. So tell me about the truck.
55 Chevy. Its project started in 2005.
Wow.
Gentleman in Canada, Calgary, Canada, began the project, and like all of them, it outgrew itself, and life took over, and he moved, and I can't do the math, 15 years later, we finally got it to the finish line for him.
Did he have it in between in that era?
He's had it and not had it, and it's been in a couple other shops. We're the ones that picked it up at the bare metal stage and got it to the finish line.
Yeah.
Wired it, plumbed it, painted it, bodyworked it, made custom bed wood, the whole thing.
Well,
the wood in the bed is beautiful. The stain work on that's such a cool color that goes to the red of the exterior of the truck as well.
The neat story with that is it's teak wood that he bought when he lived in Singapore, and it's allegedly 120 years old or so.
It's probably illegal to import today.
He had it milled into boards, had a bed made, a dresser made, and then the leftovers we used in the bed.
So he got two beds made.
Yeah.
The other, I was looking at the interior in it, and I noticed the contrasting materials that you used for overhead the instrument cluster, and then the dash pad, and they're two dissimilar things.
Correct.
But they're seat inserts that blend those two things. And I picked up on that, sir. I'm proud of myself. But that was really a nice touch.
Well, I'd love to take credit for that, but our upholstery guy is the wizard behind all that. He's over in Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, that is really, really nice. It's those little tiny touches like that it sets cars like that apart.
Yeah.
And it's really commendable. Thank you.
Thank you. Another interesting touch you don't really know unless you know is that whole thing is driven by an iPad. You can start it, turn everything on and off, everything by an iPad.
No, I didn't see the iPad sitting there. Maybe somebody stole it.
It's in the dash. Well, maybe. It should be in the dash. We'll check.
Okay.
It can be on your Apple Watch, your iPhone, your iPad. And then it's got a second layer of redundant switches just in case, because I'm paranoid like that. If the iPad's dead or whatever happens.
Your Wi-Fi's gone.
I still got to be able to start the truck, open the windows. So there's actually 2 layers of wiring in that truck. It was quite a challenge to stuff it all in that little cab.
So who does the wiring for you?
We do it at the shop. I do a lot of it. And then we have another fella who helped for a while, but he had to retire with some health issues.
So this kind of gives me an insight into you. So you clearly have some sort of therapy issue, because that to me that is therapy.
I refer you back to our comment about bourbon and tequila.
Well, let's hopefully the bourbon and tequila don't go together with the wiring.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got to be a reward.
Yeah.
So are these? Is this custom colors you've put
Correct.
on this?
2 of our colors, yes.
Yeah.
And their names?
And it's the dark color is Perlot, and the lower is Randy Apple Red 2.
2.
Because we had to have a second one.
Gotcha.
And there's a third one.
I like the Perlot. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's headed to SEMA next week.
Okay, so is it? Mm-hmm. Nice. So we've got 4 of the cars that we need to get through here.
Correct.
So we'll start somewhere.
The Ford pickup 77, we did not build it. It came to us with some issues that we resolved, and we're just getting all the bugs worked out of it.
That
neat little truck, man.
Yeah.
Just looks like a farm truck, but got the new Coyote motor, the 6-speed automatic. That truck, I'd take that thing anywhere. It just drives like a dream.
Do you own it?
No.
It's a customer's
it's
car.
a local guy.
Yeah.
It was built up in Oklahoma, and the shop called us and said, hey, there's a couple bugs. Can you help us work with this guy because he's closer to you than us? It's been a good relationship. We try and help each other out.
And the big tires, and I'm thinking like a Thunderbird hubcap on it.
Well, I thought that too, but the owner told me it's the original hubcap.
Is it really?
Yes. It looked like an LTD cap.
Right,
Yes,
okay, yeah,
the LTD.
Yeah. Oh, how cool.
So we're thinking about doing a set of wheels that style, but up in maybe the 18-inch size, and get a little bit of the sidewall to disappear, but not look silly.
I didn't realize it had the Coyote 5.0 in it.
It does. And
How fun is that?
We just had it dyno tuned, and it'll get third gear all day long.
And tell us about the GTO.
GTO is a 67. We built it 7 or 8 years ago. The Mustang and the 32 all belong to the same gentleman and wife. The Mustang's the wife's car. The 32 and the 67 GTO are his.
Well, you started telling us about the Mustang a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it's got the 4.6 Terminator motor came in the 04 Cobras.
Supercharged.
Yep. It's tuned a little bit, 600 horse or so. I'd drive that car anywhere too. It's so fun and fast. Yeah, the interior's themed in a Maker's Mark kind of undertone. Got a custom suitcase with a bourbon picnic basket, so to speak, inside. And it's just a fun car to drive.
But no bourbon in it right now.
Not at the moment.
No, we drank it all before it came to the show today.
We got a hold of Maker's Mark, and the master distiller and his son both signed bottles. We have signed bottles from the distillers.
Nice.
Oh, how cool is that?
So some neat little touches.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Indeed.
Yes.
And those are bottles that won't get drank. You hang on to those.
Do you take the Mustang out? Because I know you travel around the country sometimes with a trailer and some cars in it.
The Mustang and the GTO and somewhat the 32 have all done the circuit. The ISCA stuff, the Good Guys stuff. The Mustang was a top 5 street machine of the year candidate. The GTO's done really well in the ISCA circuit. They're now drivers, so to speak. They just look pretty.
Went through the show. Now they're going to actually drive them. So that's cool.
They love to use the cars.
Are you bringing anything to Autorama?
Not sure yet. I would like to bring the 55 truck, but after SEMA, it may be making its final trek to Calgary, Canada for the final trip home. That's hopefully the goal. It's time for it to go.
Deliver to the customer.
Take it to the customer, yeah. If it does not go home, then we'll have it at Autorama.
Well, I mean, there's other cars that you can bring.
There are, but they've all been there so many times. You hate to be the guy that keeps bringing back the same stuff.
Well, I really like that truck. Did you bring the truck?
The brown one?
Uh-huh.
Well, it's not our build, so it wouldn't be mine to really represent.
Oh.
But it's certainly worth showing, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Because to look at it,
I mean, it's got a CB radio in there, the hat rack up above. All it needs is a rifle rack.
Well, this is Texas. You're allowed to do that.
Indeed, yeah.
Well, I'm thinking maybe, even though it's not yours, you got to have something in the booth. We're bringing his car this year.
Going to bring the Rally. Going to put that in the booth. So other cars here, because clearly you have a passion for cars, not your builds. Anything else here really catch your eye?
I haven't even walked around yet, but I do like the silver E-Type over here on this front row.
I like it because all the chrome's off the front, and it really changes the front end look of that car.
And you don't see the coupes very often with the sideways hatchback. It's almost like a rich guy's ambulance.
That's one way to put it. And before this show's over with, I think I'm going to need an ambulance. Randy, it's great to see you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. And we'll hopefully, even if you don't show, you're going to come down to the Autorama.
I'll come hang out. Sure.
All right. Yeah, come hang out with us.
If you need something to stick around your booth, holler at me.
We will. Absolutely.
All right, guys.
Randy Borcherding with Paint House in our remote studio. Time now for the car calendar. Do we have a car calendar this week?
We kind of already did that.
Oh, we did it already. Oh, good. Great. Scratch that right off of there. Hey, if you got a question or comment, shoot us an email, info@inwheeltime.com. In Wheel Time continues after a quick break here on ESPN 97.5.
Clear. We know fortune favors the bold and those who live large. Introducing the all-new Ram 1500 Laramie Longhorn. leather, real barnwood accents, and the only 12-inch touchscreen media center in a truck. Because even in a state this big, we're always on to something bigger. Ram, built to serve. When properly equipped,
Gordon?
Ram is a registered trademark of FCA US.
Where's
LLC.
Gordon? Gordon is supposed to be our guest.
Whether you're in the market for your first new vehicle.
Gordon, are you close by? Hello, Gordon.
I saw him just a short while ago. He caught me over here somewhere. And anyway.
Gordon, you're up next.
Brought to you by the Houston Auto Dealers Association.
Or not.
Or not. Mr. Mars, did you want to try to find him?
I have no idea.
Well, he was down that way.
What kind of car? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's In Wheel Time, Houston's most popular weekly award-winning live car talk show here on ESPN 97.5. Today coming to you from the Guitars and Cars Charity Car Show at Sam Houston Race Park. Go until 6 o'clock tonight. Today's show is presented by Jeep. Hurry in today for great deals during the Jeep Adventure Days sales event. And by the Ram 1500, built for a world that demands more. Well, good Saturday to you, along with Mike Out of This World Mars and King Conrad DeLong. I am Don Armstrong. So glad that you could join us today on what's turning out to be an absolutely stunningly gorgeous day for a car show. Nice and cool. Fall weather is upon us, and it is this is a great car show because there's every kind of car show that there is.
Yeah, it's a real diverse crowd, from the European stuff to the really modified custom stuff, and then some of the old muscle cars as well. Just a real diverse, and then the new Vipers and the new Vents. Some beautiful iron here though too.
Yeah, and the wind is blowing just a little bit every once in a while. The wind's supposed to be dying down today. It's actually supposed to be kind of chilly tonight, or as we like to say, chilly.
In Texas, no beans.
No beans.
No
you never
beans
put
in
beans
Texas.
in chili. So our guest in the studio now, president of the Vets, Mr. Greg Peck.
Steve.
I'm sorry?
Steve.
Steve.
This is Gregory Peck's.
Greg's the dad.
See where it's at. You got to read it.
It's Gregory Peck's son,
Steve.
the Gregory Peck. Well,
You know,
this is the Steve
I'm
Peck.
trying to
Buying books
Read
and
my
buying books,
chicken-
and still he
Really,
can't.
I've walked into a loony bin here.
Yes, you have. Welcome to our world. If nothing else, we have fun doing this.
as they like to
That's
say, there's no communication in the communications business. We've had you on the show before.
You were here last year.
I do know
It's true.
in the back of my mind that you are Steve and you're Greg's son. But I have two other guys that help in this loony bin, and they're no help whatsoever. You know how that works?
Yeah, yes, I get it.
Well,
So my apologies.
You couldn't have got a better day today. It was a little
That's
cool
true.
to start off this morning,
Yeah.
but boy, what a gorgeous day it's turned into.
Yeah, it was nice sun, a little taking off the chill of the air.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So tell me about your involvement in this organization, Steve.
Well, Greg,
Just slap him.
I've been involved with this organization since the beginning, 26 years. I used to be a documentary filmmaker. I'm a Vietnam vet. I was in the Marine Corps in Vietnam, and ultimately made a couple of documentaries about veterans and homeless veterans, and became an advocate. And one thing led to another, and I switched careers in '93. Started working outreach for the VA in Los Angeles, going out under the bridges and into the soup kitchens to bring veterans in off the street. And coincidentally, that year, this organization started in 1993. We were LA vets then. And I was assigned as the liaison. It was a brand new nonprofit. There were 5 guys in there. And today we house about 5,500 across the country.
Oh,
So
wow.
It's been quite a ride. It's been pretty extraordinary.
So what do you think about this show?
This is such fun. Gordon Clun, who is around here somewhere. I'm sure he's running around
Not
here
sure
somewhere.
where he is, but
would really love us to export this to other cities. And we actually went to the Peterson Museum in Los Angeles and showed them pictures and said, we're doing this show and it's for veterans. And they said, great, you can rent our building for X. I mean, they didn't get it at all. They just wanted to make a couple of bucks out of the deal. So we'd love to do it, but you get someone like Gordon and all of his friends here. They all all of them seem to have car collections. So,
well, I mean, you're in Southern California, what I would consider the car collectors mecca of the world.
Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, and back in the day, I was involved with NHRA drag racing, and you've got the NHRA museum out there in Pomona. And I know that there are several car shows throughout the year that are held out there at the fairgrounds. Mm-hmm. And I think that there would be some way, somewhere, somehow, a connection that you could make out there with our help. I don't know.
Yeah, something. So I didn't know about that museum in Pomona. We have a project in Riverside as well.
Okay,
out that way. And we had one, real small car show out there once, but I think I need to go out to that museum in Pomona and talk to them.
Yes, you do. And I know a couple of people with the NHRA, and I'm sure that they would be glad to talk to you. It's a fabulous facility out there. It's an Art Deco building on the fairgrounds there.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know whether you're familiar with it or not, but it's right across the way from the hotel that is there on the property as well. Mm-hmm. And obviously a parking lot to fit the entire county of Los Angeles on, along with a drag strip. And I would think that there would be some time in there that the fairgrounds aren't being used, but it should make a nice car show for vets.
Boy, wouldn't it though?
Yeah.
Or do it during the during one of the fairs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to kind of feed off of that.
Yeah, you got tens of thousands of people out there already.
So you can go back to L.A. and with all of your friends out there and say, there was this guy with a car show that I met in a radio.
You've made up for your early error.
Actually, it wasn't my early error; it was my partner's early error that fed me information. So I'm going to throw him under the damn bus. Okay, I get thrown under the bus enough.
I got an ex-wife. I'm used to it.
Yeah.
So, Steve, do you try and figure out what works in certain communities and export them, like you're thinking of trying to export this event out there?
We do. We started in Los Angeles. Had one site. We had that one site for 7 years before we expanded. And we pretty much thought, well, we've done it once, we can do it in this community. Same old. And every community is different. The demographics are different. The people in the community who want to support you are different. The VA, there's a saying: you've seen one VA, you've seen one VA.
No.
They're all different. They're all, the power structure there. You got to get to know those guys. So it's kind of it's just a brand new project every time. Now, we got a lot of experience to work on at this point.
Sure.
When we start putting,
and you have a reputation when you walk in the door of
exactly.
who you are and what you do.
So once we put all those pieces together, we have this incredible team that comes in and really organizes the program so the guys are getting the best services that they can.
Well, and I failed to mention, but I want to mention it now, so I won't fail to mention, that in Houston, this is really kind of a Houston construction industry charities event. That benefits the vets, and it is an event that's open to the public. So when you come in and you pay your entry fee, whatever it is, to walk in the door, show a car, all that goes to the vets in a brilliant facility that used to be an old Holiday Inn in downtown Houston, and it went through different iterations of motels, and it was really kind of an ugly place. And they bought it, they fixed it up, and now it's a great place. Kind of what I like to call like a halfway house for Houston vets. The way I understand it, I haven't been out there, but it just all seems to work so well together, thanks to Gordon, and because this is all about the construction industry here in town.
Well, he called us. He called us out of the blue. He wanted to do something for vets, and came over there. At that point, we didn't have a proper industrial kitchen. We were bringing our food in from the outside.
Right.
So the first project he did was he got all of his buddies together and they raised money and built a kitchen. Now, that facility is old and pretty beat up, And our new effort now is to build a brand new facility.
Ground up.
Ground up.
Wow.
So we're looking the 3rd Ward, identified a piece of property, have a hold on that property. Gensler Architects have built a rendering for us. It's around somewhere. It's over at the the food court there. And it's a beautiful facility. There's funding available, we know. There's a grant coming out, a grant proposal coming out next week, another one in January. And between those two, there's probably enough money to build this new facility if we can.
And then it'll have everything you want.
It'll yeah. So all the offices we want, it'll really be a complete project. And it'll be phase 1 of a 4-phase project over time. That'll grow to about 400 beds.
And if people wanted to make a donation direct, how could they do that?
Go onto our website, www.usvetsinc.org, and you can find out about it there.
Steve, it's great to have you, and thank you. It's good to see you. Sorry I screwed it all up at the very beginning.
You've made up for it.
Thank you.
I'm going to Pomona.
Okay, go to Pomona. Call me if necessary.
I sure will.
Oh, yeah, we appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Steve Peck in our remote studio here. Time now for our Jeep Trails feature, In Wheel Time's weekly look into the world of Jeeping. Mr. Mars?
Yes, sir. We're always talking about Jeep Trails and Jeep lifestyle. And one of the great things they've done with the Jeep Gladiator, Mark Allen is the chief Jeep design boss, and he rides dirt bikes. And so one of the things they've done, whenever you look at the bed of any truck, up there at the cab, at the inside of the bed, the inside of the bed's got different things on it. It may have the logo or whatever. But this one has a semblance of the front of a Jeep. And on each side of it, there is a tread mark off of a dirt bike. And the way it's set up is that if you pull your dirt bike up in there and you push it all the way to the front of the Jeep Gladiator bed and the tread locks into this location, then you know that you've got your dirt bike in the right place for the tie downs, and you don't have to worry about it. So you just pull it up in there, you line it up, and it's going to fit perfect inside the truck bed. So that's part of how the Jeep works with people looking for the Jeep lifestyle.
Still ahead, we're going to have a guy from the vet contingency, and it's a big one here. We invite you to stay tuned for that. And plus, we're also going to have a couple of automotive news headlines for you. Those just ahead here on the In Wheel Time radio program, streaming on ESPN 97.5, the mobile app, and on Facebook.com/InWheelTime. Back after this quick break.
There. This popped in and out a couple of times. It always ran in the background, and now I haven't had any problems with it since. I have no idea why.
No, I don't know what's going on with it.
Luxurious Grand Cherokee, or in a Jeep Compass with over 70 standard and available safety and security features. Or get up close and personal with the elements thanks to the open-air freedom of Jeep Wrangler or Jeep Gladiator. Hurry in to
Mars, I don't know how you expected me to read that.
President, U.S. Vets, Greg
You
Peck's
can
son.
read it. It's
That's
your-
what the hell it says.
It's your last chance of the year to see the best circle track.
Well, you got to remember the way Don reads, though. He reads and speaks at the same time. So when you said Gregory Peck's son, he just said Gregory Peck, not realizing that the son is Steve.
It's the 2019 championship
Should have
finale
said
on the 3D
Stephen
Smile
Peck,
Asphalt Oval. Speed
son of Gregory
Peck.
Peck.
Park on North Western Parkway, Saturday, November 9th, starting at 5:30 p.m. Buy the whole seat, but you'll only use the edge.
If you'd like to get in touch with us here at In Wheel Time, shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. Thank you for joining us today on the In Wheel Time radio program. And
yep,
we're ready right now. So we're trying to get our next guest over here, and
Thank you. Here you go, sir. Right here.
And he must be a U.S.
Just right up
Marine
here.
veteran as well.
Absolutely.
John Nelson?
Yes.
Is that you?
That's me.
It's good to meet you, sir.
It's nice to see you.
Um,
I'd like to see more of you. Do you have shorts?
He sees the red pumps, Don.
Actually, I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm not wearing any underwear today. Does that count?
That could make you a sailor.
That's that. Well, I can tell that it's almost time for the radio show to be off the air, and it's good to know everybody, and I'm going to jail.
The problem is when you see Don in shorts and no shirt, he looks like a Shar-Pei.
Yeah, well, they say if you want to know if the Marines really do it better, just ask a sailor's wife. So.
Whoa! Oh, that's we're going downhill.
Okay.
So, John.
Yes.
Corvettes.
Yeah, let's talk about
There's a
cars.
contingency of Corvettes over there.
Yes.
I was impressed with. I mean, it's a bunch.
And I have the prettiest one.
Do you?
I drive Marine One, 815 horsepower, 700 to the rear wheel. It's decked out with all Marine Corps emblems, engines chromed out, supercharged. It's the real deal.
Semper Fi.
Hey, it's not only fast, it's pretty. Kind of like my first wife. That's why she's gone.
Got it. Fast and pretty. All right. So, do you know all of those guys over there? What Corvette clubs are being represented, or are they just individual guys?
No, there's Rods and Reels, which is a bunch of guys who don't go to meetings, but they fish and drive around in their Corvettes. And then there's a couple of other guys over there from the different clubs, but it's not just one group. It's just they put a notice out on the email. It'll tell us where it's at. And since it was for vets, they had a pretty good turnout. A lot of cars over there, a lot of pretty cars.
Vets for vets.
And all, I mean, 50s, 60s, 70s, up to the current model year.
That's right.
I was impressed.
I haven't seen a C8, but there's lots
Well,
of...
no. I don't think they're even being built yet.
Well, and they won't hold a full set of golf clubs, so I'm not interested.
Well, they claim that they will.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they will, but you won't be able to have a passenger with you. You just put it in the passenger side.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing it. Mine hold a full set of clubs, and I can even put my little electric cart in it. But those cars over there are really gorgeous. They have some that the colors shift and change, and but everybody, a Corvette's, it's kind of like having an extra wife because everyone's different. They're all a lot of fun. Some are more fun to ride than the others, but it's a pretty good gig.
Yeah, and everybody loves them.
They do.
Well, I have to tell you, I've been a Corvette guy all my life, and the one that stood out is the one that I saw driving in there. It's a 50s, and I don't know. It's an early 50s car or mid-50s car, and it was stunningly gorgeous. And, you just don't see very many of them these days driving around.
I think there's a couple of them over there, the C1s, and they're gorgeous, and they're just brings back the day when you're young. I'm 69, and when I remember seeing the guys driving those, the hair blowing and good-looking girl sitting next to him, and her husband chasing him in a Ford.
Not quite catching them either.
Well, so contingency of you guys out here. Are they going to give out? They're going to give trophies because I saw a trophy table over there.
They have the trophies are going to go, I guess, to everything from best in show. They have muscle cars. They have Corvettes. So they're kind of breaking them up, so there's a lot of people going to be involved in that.
Yeah.
But they're also different. I mean, some of these cars are just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, most definitely.
And a diverse collection of
and
cars.
That's the one thing
well.
I was going to mention, the fact about, we're starting to see more and more and going to more and more of the shows like this where it is such a diverse mixture of cars and trucks, all kinds of vehicles here, that if you're not a Corvette guy or you're not a Viper person, if you're into Porsches or whatever it is that you're into, it's here. And that's really a nice mix to have.
And the people that drive cars like this are really lovely. I mean, they all have one thing in common. We all love our vehicles.
Yep.
And everybody puts their personal touch on them. And the people are just great. You'll not meet a nicer bunch of people.
And you want to go talk with them because there's things they've done to their car that they're proud of that they want to show off as well.
Absolutely. I mean, to go see the stuff, like some of these cars here are just crazy beautiful. The old 41s, I remember being a kid and the guys would take the 32 Fords and stuff and put a big engine in them and had the plywood firewall and it would set fire to your toes. But you looked really cute, but you couldn't stop because the fumes would come in and choke you to death between lights.
Well, that and the fact that they had drum brakes on it, only on the rear and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So there's that as well.
But there's some really beautiful cars here today.
John Nelson, it's great to talk to you. Great to see you. Thank you very much. We appreciate your humor, and you got to keep it.
Hey, You got to laugh at
light.
life. If you don't laugh at it, it'll bite you on the butt.
That's exactly right. John Nelson, thanks again. We really appreciate you stopping by. All right, a reminder that the In Real Time Radio Car Show airs every Saturday, noon to 2, usually. We also live stream the broadcast on the radio station's mobile app on ESPN 97.5 and video stream it on our Facebook page. You can also download our show podcast from inwheeltime.com. We're going to do automotive news stories coming up next, and we're also going to have some coming up to the end of racing season.
Yeah, there's not much racing going on other than what's going on NHRA and then the end of NASCAR.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Automotive news coming up here on the In Wheel Time radio program on ESPN 97.5. Back after this.
Clear.
We know fortune favors the bold.
But yeah, I can do a couple of pieces on racing.
Introducing
There's
the
a couple of
all-new
F1
Ram
races
1500
left. COTA
Laramie Longhorn.
is 2 weeks from now. Next weekend is
Real barn
Circuit
wood
of the Americas
accents.
and F1,
The only 12-inch
and then Las
touchscreen
Vegas, and
media
then
center in a
Pomona.
truck. Because even in a
NHRA
state
be
this
done.
big, we're always on to something bigger.
Eric is in
Ram, built to serve.
sitting top of the
Properly equipped.
category in
Rams
pro
registered
stock right
trademark
now.
US LLC.
Yep.
Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's
Is SEMA
hottest
next
new
week?
Saturday morning cruise in.
It is
Tailpipes
next
and
week.
Tacos welcomes all specialty cars
She would
and
like to
trucks
go to
from
that
mile to
sometime.
mile every third Saturday of the month. Shine
Yeah,
it up,
if I
turn
had
it on, and head on over to
a
Lupe
powered
Tortilla on the
wheelchair,
Grand
oh my
Parkway
God,
at Kingsburg.
a powered
Just 2 minutes south
motorcycle
of
to get
I-10
around that.
Fresh
That is.
Lupe Tortilla
I got
breakfast
one you can
tacos,
borrow.
killer coffee, and
Actually, I got
fun.
3.
Together for a
Just
fabulous
huge.
Saturday morning cruise
Oh,
in,
yeah.
8 to 11. Tailpipes and Tacos
Yeah, you
at
can't
Lupe
really
Tortilla.
do it
3
all.
or 4
Just south of
event
I-10.
centers and outdoors in a parking lot.
3 that I know of. We should plan one year to go. We need to go because we need to talk to some people up there.
Listen to them practice the same song on tuba.
It's a beautiful Chevy truck, though.
Over
That
and
vanilla-colored one with the tan wheel wells.
then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the
Where are you seeing this?
Right through
See
there.
the little kid with the yellow right behind him.
Good, honey.
Check today
Oh.
Kind of tan, kind of
Yep.
almost a khaki look.
to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Scooby-Doo. You know,
Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh. You know, there was an voice actor on that show by the name of Casey Kasem. Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't know Casey Kasem did that.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Which voice was he?
I mean, I could look it up and find out.
That's okay. That's okay.
If it's that important to you.
In his,
You still watching Scooby-Doo at night?
No, but
Or you got
I
to send yourself to bed?
I
or-
followed Casey, and I know there's been some struggles with he and his family, and all.
Well,
of the
he's dead.
All of the nuttiness that happened at his
And that
end
was
of
about
life.
his ex-wife, yes.
Right.
Okay, let's do a few of the stories making automotive news headlines this week from the annals of autonews.com. The futuristic door handles on Tesla Inc.'s Model S are being blamed for causing a driver's death in a crash
Oh my gosh.
where a police officer was unable to pull him to safety from his burning car. Omar Awan, a 48-year-old anesthesiologist, was driving his leased Tesla in February when he lost control on a South Florida parkway, and the car slammed into a palm tree, according to a wrongful death lawsuit filed in state court in Broward County. Police officer couldn't open the doors because the handles were retracted, and bystanders watched helplessly as the car filled with smoke and flames, according to the complaint, which alleges the fire originated with the car's battery. The door handles on the Model S are flush with the car and pop out,
As you approach the car.
auto-present, as it were, in the word of Tesla, when they detect that the key fob is nearby. Consumer Reports said in 2015 that broken door handles were one of the most common problems with the Model S. Drivers also have complained about being unable to access the car when the handles are covered in snow or ice because they won't pop out. Awan's Tesla continued to burn for hours, reigniting several times, even after firefighters had extinguished the flames and the car had been towed, according to the complaint.
It's lithium-ion batteries.
Well, not only that, car seats and stuff are bad about that.
While they often get high scores on crash tests, Tesla's focus on style over safety and features that push up stock prices rather than protecting occupants and others on the road continues to raise serious concerns. That, according to Jason Levine, executive director for the Center for Auto Safety. He said that in an email to Automotive News. Tesla should have learned by now that cars catch on fire and first responders must be able to extricate victims from burning vehicles, even if that means making door handles which are accessible at all times. Remember me telling you a couple of weeks ago about a car company called Zoyte?
Yes.
Zoyte USA, the American distributor for Chinese manufacturer Zoyte Automobile, has chosen retailers in 100 markets now as it plans to launch sales of its first vehicle in 2021.
That's close.
Duke Hale, CEO for the U.S. distributor, said the filling of the first 100 spots is ahead of schedule as it plans to have agreements signed in 250 markets before the launch.
Duke, there's not a name you hear very often.
Eventually, the brand expects to have about 325 locations, the distributor said Tuesday. Zoyte said it has agreements in the top 10 states for sales and that it has closed the recruitment process in cities such as Atlanta, Austin, Houston, and Las Vegas. The first model to hit the U.S. will be a new version of the T600 compact crossover, the company said. It'll be followed by a second utility and car. This is a Chinese company.
Huh. So that means you want to drive it in a half hour later?
You want to drive it again?
And he laughs at his own jokes. I like it.
Somebody has to.
Yeah, I was going to say, nobody else is.
You ever heard of Bollinger Motors?
Yes.
You have?
We had Bollinger brought that prototype to the truck rodeo 2 years ago.
I didn't go to the truck rodeo, and nor will I. Bollinger Motors,
You were
a
invited.
Detroit startup venture to produce electric pickups and SUVs, said this week that its first two proposed models will go on sale in 2021, priced at $125,000.
Right there in the middle of the truck market price range.
Well, Bollinger is attempting to raise $100 million to complete development of the battery-powered trucks, and it must also close on a deal with a contract manufacturer to assemble them. The B1 SUV and B2 truck model will be powered by twin permanent magnet electric motors, one on each axle, delivering full-time four-wheel drive. Bollinger said that the motors are rated at a combined 614 horsepower and generate a diesel-like 668 pound-feet of torque. Both vehicles will have front and rear electronic locking differentials.
1 minute to break.
The company has targeted a driving range for both of 200 miles per charge, with the fastest possible charging time of 75 minutes. Trucks will be able to haul as much as 5,000 pounds and will be engineered for off-road use, according to the company. Bollinger is also facing competition as a startup from another proposed manufacturer of electric trucks called Rivian.
Yeah, I've heard of Rivian.
Rivian's got money behind them, though.
Yeah. I imagine when you're
Robert.
towing much or hauling much, that driving range
You want to
goes
see
down.
something that's ugly? There's the Bollinger. Good luck on that.
Oh, my gosh, it's just square.
Thank
Everything's
you.
square.
Exactly. It's flat sheet metal. All right. We're going to wrap up today's show after a quick break here on the In Wheel Time radio program on ESPN 97.5.
For $125,000.
All right, Don, you'll have about a minute and 10 seconds.
All right, sir. You don't even have to play the music. Just play the music beginning at 60 seconds, and we're going to say goodbye.
Copy that.
Security features, or get up close and personal with the elements thanks to the open air free.
Whether you're in the market,
Sorry about that. I'll fix that.
Oh, that one's adorable.
a solid certified pre-owned, or you really want to make the most of your so-called middle-aged crisis, you've got to know where to go to find the car of your dreams. And that's HoustonCarDealers.com. Brought to you by the Houston Auto Dealers Association, HoustonCarDealers.com gives you a complete list of local dealerships. Plus, you can learn about the great things local dealers do for our community.
We get everything in there, Mr. Mars?
Program and student technician training.
As far as I know.
Check it out today, HoustonCarDealers.com.
It's our Halloween show. Obviously, we're a little bit ahead of the curve, but at any rate, happy Halloween, everybody. clocks back next week. Just wanted to remind you. Well, that's it for today's In Wheel Time presented by Jeep and Ram. When you're on Facebook, please give us a like. You'll get Conrad's unicorn hunting features along with all things automotive. And while you're online, you'll want to sign up for our feeds on Twitter, Instagram, and on pretty much every other social media platform that you can imagine as well. Just look us up, In Wheel Time. Our website is inwheeltime.com, and it is there that you can download our show podcast. Thanks to all of our guests here at Guitars and Cars. In the ESPN control room is Harrison Lerman. And the In Wheel Time chief engineer is the fabulous David Ainsley. Be sure and join us again next Saturday for the next installment of In Wheel Time, when we'll be at the Hemi Hideout. It's an open house, and we are invited as well. Get the details on our Facebook page and on the website. We are Houston's #1 car talk show, In Wheel Time, on ESPN 97.5. For Mike Out of This World Mars and King Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks for listening. Have a great week, and stay cool like you know you are.
All clear. Great show, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Harrison. Sorry about that. I led you astray.
No, that was great. Made for great fodder.
Don's not a grandfather yet.
No, I'm not worthy. No, not worthy.
He wants to be a father-in-law first.